Does the Canadian government believe these tariffs from Donald Trump is an act of war from the U.S.?
Canadians are not angry at the American people for this. We don't have anything against Americans. Americans are our neighbors, our friends, our partners. We do things together. We've done things together for decades and generations. This is a policy decision by the American government designed to go after the Canadian economy. This is a trade war, yes. But Canadians, yeah, Canadians are hurt. Canadians are angry. We're going to choose to not go on vacation in Florida or Old Orchard Beach or wherever. We're going to choose to try to buy Canadian products and forego bourbon and other classic American products. And yeah, we're probably going to keep booing the American anthem. But let me tell Americans, we're not booing you. We're not booing your teams. We're not booing your players. We're booing a policy that is designed to hurt us. And we're insulted. And we're angry. But we're Canadian, which means we're going to stand up for each other. We're going to fight. And we're going to win.
First of all, and I know this may not be the most important thing in the world, pretty wild to hear a world leader use full sentences as opposed to saying that many people are saying that things are great from the standpoint of greatness. This is Prime Minister Justin Trudeau of Canada laying out exactly why Canadians are so hurt by Trump's tariffs, and by extension, his threat to annex their country. He explains that actions like booing the US national anthem at sporting events is not intended toward Americans, and especially Americans who didn't vote for Trump, but rather they are intended to send a message to Trump and his administration that he is not only alienating America on the world stage, but he's alienating the US from one of its closest allies. And by the way, when I say that Canada is one of our closest allies, that is an understatement. During World War II, Canada fought alongside American forces. We literally stormed the beaches of Normandy with Canadian forces. During 9/11, Canada provided refuge for thousands of stranded travelers through Operation Yellow Ribbon, hosting nearly 33,000 people, opening their homes, providing food, and caring for stranded travelers. Canadian intelligence and military forces then worked closely with the US in the aftermath, sharing security information and later joining in the war in Afghanistan. Canada is also a key US defense partner through NORAD, protecting North American airspace, and of course economically, we share one of the most intertwined trade relationships in the entire world. We rely heavily on Canada economically, including with lumber, aluminum, steel, and agricultural products. On top of all of that, Canada is the largest supplier of crude oil to the United States, providing over half of our oil imports. You remember the Keystone XL pipeline? The things that Republicans spent years screaming about how important it supposedly was and how it would lower our gas prices? Yeah, that connects to Canada for their oil resources. You quite literally cannot advocate for the need to import more from Canada while you're also slapping an absurd tariff that makes it impossible to import those very things. And if you're one of the roughly 100% of Americans who don't want higher prices on gas and petroleum products, you might not want to alienate the very country that supplies it. We also rely on Canada when it comes to cars and the parts we use for our auto industry, a sector that Trump repeatedly claimed to be on the side of during the election. Here's even Fox News reporting on how Trump's tariffs on our neighbors are raising prices on pickup trucks.
Could be ground zero for the impact on the tariffs, Maria. This Dodge Ram truck, $80,000, instantly became $100,000.
Now, I might be working off of stereotypes here, but I think that a number of Trump voters might have a particular interest in the rising cost of pickup trucks. Just a wild guess. And on top of imports and exports, our countries are also infrastructurally dependent on each other. Here's a top Canadian politician, the Premier of Toronto, Doug Ford, threatening to cut electricity to 1.5 million Americans if Trump continues with his devastating tariff policies.
We are the largest purchaser of alcohol in the world. We buy over 3,600 products from 35 states. I talked to the governor of Kentucky and Mitch McConnell, don't touch our bourbon. I'm going after absolutely everything. And I don't want to. We keep the lights on to 1.5 million homes in manufacturing in New York, in Michigan, and in Minnesota. If he wants to destroy our economy and our families, I will shut down the electricity going down to the U.S. And I'm telling you, we will do it. It's unfortunate. I would rather ship you more electricity, ship you more critical minerals. I want to ship you more energy, more potash to keep your farmers going, and uranium that you use for your nuclear power. It comes through from Saskatchewan over to Ontario, and it's going to be a massive, massive problem. I'm telling you, we love the Canadians love Americans. I love the U.S. Everyone does. And not one American friend. When I lived there for 20 years, I've talked to all of them. Hardcore Republicans are saying this is the biggest mistake President Trump has done, and we're dead against it.
And of course, this is what it looks like inside of Canadian grocery stores as employees clear the shelves of American liquor. That right there is bullet bourbon. It comes from Kentucky, meaning that red states' economies are going to suffer as the direct result of Donald Trump. But I have to say that none of this should come as a surprise to anybody who is paying attention. Here's Elon Musk late last year admitting that Trump's agenda would cause hardship for the middle class, but says it's, quote, necessary.
We have to reduce spending to live within our means. Yeah, that necessarily involves some temporary hardship, but it will ensure long-term prosperity.
So the guy who spends his days private jetting around the world, including getting a free ride on Marine One, mooching off billions in taxpayer dollars for his companies, cutting Americans' health care like Medicaid and earned benefits, and destroying the agencies that are tasked with investigating him, he thinks that you facing hardship is just a necessary thing that we'll have to deal with. Convenient, huh? And in case you think that it's just Elon Musk, it's not. Here's one of Trump's billionaire allies, Jamie Dimon, also recently admitting that Trump's tariffs are going to raise prices on working class Americans and that they should just get over it.
Yeah, look, I look at tariffs, they are an economic tool. That's it. They're an economic weapon, depending how you use it and why you use it and stuff like that. And, people argue, is it inflationary and non-inflationary? I would put in perspective, if it's a little inflationary, but it's good for national security, so be it.
If you are a working or middle-class American who supports this administration, I say this because I'm willing to show you the respect that this White House won't. You are being robbed. You are in the grips of one of the biggest scams in American history. They do not care about you. They don't want to protect your jobs. They're literally firing thousands of people without cause and gutting everyone designed to protect workers. They don't want to protect your retirement. They're tanking your 401k and going after your Social Security benefits. And they sure as hell don't want to lower your prices. They are actively raising them as we speak. Here's a graph showing Trump's tax proposal impacts on various income brackets. It shows that the richest Americans get a tax cut, while the income brackets that represent the vast majority of Americans not only don't get a tax cut, but actually have their taxes raised. In fact, the poorer you are, the more in taxes you would pay. Look, I don't care what party you belong to or identify with. This administration is making it clear that the real battle here is allowing the ultra-wealthy to suck up all the wealth in this country and leaving the working class and the middle class with crumbs, all the while keeping everybody distracted by culture wars. As far as which side to take, I don't know about you, but it seems like a pretty simple choice to me. Before you go, first, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more and support independent media, please subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button will be right here on the screen. But second, the reality is that we're now in a political environment where this administration can lean on any of the social media platforms to suppress certain voices if they don't like critical coverage. That means my longevity here is in the hands of a few tech billionaires who are already making it clear that they're willing to cater to this White House. To that end, signing up for my newsletter is a great way for me to be able to reach you directly if that ever becomes necessary. I'll put the link on the screen as well, so please sign up. It's completely free, but there's also an option to do a paid subscription if you'd like to support my work. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.